Strength is not measured by how much weight you can lift or how loud you can shout. Strength is measured by your ability to remain calm when the world tests you. The man who cannot control his emotions is a man enslaved. He is weak, even if his body looks strong. Emotional intelligence is the strength no one sees but everyone feels. It is the invisible power that decides whether you rise or fall. Life will test you, people will insult you, betray you, and provoke you. But your reaction, that is your true power. Most men lose the battle before it even begins because they hand over control of their emotions to others. They allow anger to lead them into destruction, fear to freeze their progress, and pride to blind their vision. But the Stoic Warrior does not hand over his power so easily. He understands that emotional intelligence is not about suppressing emotions, it is about mastering them. Anger can destroy, but when mastered, it becomes courage. Fear can paralyze, but when mastered, it becomes preparation. Sadness can weaken, but when mastered, it becomes wisdom. This is the transformation of weakness into strength, and it is only possible for those who rule themselves. True strength is silent. It is the strength of the man who stands unshaken when storms roar around him. It is the strength of the man who does not lash out, who does not beg for control because he already owns it. Emotional intelligence is this silent strength, the strength that builds empires within. If you seek greatness, you must first master yourself, because the man who cannot control his emotions will forever be controlled by the world. But the man who has mastered himself cannot be broken. He becomes untouchable. He becomes unstoppable. He becomes truly strong. Everything can be taken from you, your wealth, your possessions, even the people you love. But there is one thing that no one can ever take, your power to respond. This is the essence of emotional intelligence. Life is not about what happens to you, but how you respond to what happens to you. Most people live like slaves. They react to every insult, every setback, every frustration. Their emotions drag them like chains, and they become prisoners of impulse. But the Stoic Warrior is free. He does not react, he chooses. His responses are deliberate, calculated, born from strength rather than weakness. Think of it like this: someone insults you. The ordinary man feels rage and explodes. The wise man feels the same spark of rage, but does not let it consume him. He pauses, he breathes, he chooses silence. That silence is power. That pause is mastery, because in that moment he proves that nothing outside of him can control him. Emotional intelligence is the discipline just like of building space between stimulus and response. In that space, you gain freedom. In that space, you gain control. And in that space, you decide the outcome of your life. The man without emotional intelligence is like a ship with no captain, tossed by every wave, controlled by every storm. But the man who governs his responses is like a steady fortress, immovable, unshaken, unbroken. So remember, the world can insult you, betray you, test you, but it cannot force you to react. That choice is yours. That is your freedom. That is your inner kingdom. Protect it, and you will never be powerless. Your emotions were not designed to enslave you. They were designed to serve you. But most men live as prisoners to their emotions, chained by impulse, dragged into ruin by their own inner storms. Emotional intelligence is the art of turning emotions into tools, sharp weapons to be wielded with precision, instead of chains that bind you. Enslave, for example, is dangerous. It destroys relationships, clouds judgment, and leads men into ruin. But anger, when mastered, becomes fuel. It becomes the fire that drives courage, the energy that pushes you forward when others collapse. Fear, too, can cripple, but when mastered, it becomes foresight. Each sharpens your senses, prepares you for danger, and keeps you alert to the traps of life. Even sadness, which many see as weakness, can be transformed into wisdom, teaching you the lessons that only pain can provide. The key is awareness. The untrained man feels emotion and obeys it. The trained man feels emotion and questions it. Why am I feeling this? What is it teaching me? How can I use this? That shift from slave to master is the essence of emotional intelligence. Your emotions are like fire. Fire can burn and destroy, or it can warm and forge. It is not the fire's fault. It is the wielder's responsibility. So it is with you. Either your emotions destroy you or they build you. The Stoic Warrior does not seek to kill his emotions. He refines them, bends them, transforms them. He turns anger into strength, fear into strategy, sadness into wisdom, and love into power. That is the path of mastery. That is the way of true inner power. Emotional intelligence is most visible in silence. The ability to remain calm in chaos, to hold your tongue when provoked, to stand still when others rush. That is power. Silence is not weakness. Silence is discipline. Silence is mastery. When you are insulted, most men want to lash out to prove their strength through words or violence. But what strength is there in being predictable? What power is there in reacting the same way every fool reacts? True power lies in silence, in restraint, in the ability to hold your ground without being dragged into the mud. Silence disarms your enemy. It frustrates the one who wants to provoke you. It keeps your energy intact instead of wasted on meaningless battles. And most importantly, silence gives you time to think. The man who reacts quickly often regrets. The man who waits, observes, and responds wisely, he always wins. The Stoics understood this. They taught that anger is temporary madness. To fight while mad is to fight blind. But the warrior who practices silence is never blind. He sees clearly. He acts deliberately. So cultivate silence. Train your tongue to wait. Train your mind to pause. In silence, you are not defeated. You are preparing. In silence, you are not passive. You are in control. Remember, silence is the fortress of the wise and the trap for the fool. Impulse is the enemy of greatness. It is the destroyer of kingdoms, the downfall of leaders, the ruin of men. Emotional intelligence is the mastery of. Impulse, the ability to choose principle over passion, discipline over desire. Every man feels impulse, the urge to shout when insulted, the urge to quit when tired, the urge to indulge when temptation whispers. But the man of impulse is weak. He cannot resist. He cannot lead. He cannot endure. He is owned by his urges. But the Stoic Warrior is different. He recognizes impulse, but he does not obey it. He sees the fire, but he does not jump into it. He chooses the harder path, the path of discipline, because he understands that impulse leads to regret, but restraint leads to power. Mastery over impulse is the dividing line between the ordinary and the extraordinary. Ordinary men live as slaves to impulse. Extraordinary men rise above it, and in that mastery, they find freedom. Control yourself, and nothing controls you. Resist your impulses, and you will command respect. Govern your emotions, and you will govern your life. This is emotional intelligence. This is mastery. The ultimate goal of emotional intelligence is not comfort, it is power. The warrior of inner power is untouchable. He cannot be broken by insults, cannot be shaken by fear, cannot be enslaved by impulse. He moves with calmness. He acts with clarity. He speaks with purpose. This is the man who stands strong when others crumble. This is the man who leads when others follow. This is the man who lives by principle, not by emotion. He is not controlled by the world. He controls himself. And because he controls himself, he controls his destiny. Emotional intelligence is the crown of the Stoic Warrior. It is the ultimate guide to inner power, the invisible weapon that separates the strong from the weak. It is the difference between the man who is tossed by the storm and the man who becomes the storm. If you want to rise above, if you want to win in life, if you want to be unshakable, then master your emotions. Because when you master your emotions, you master yourself. And when you master yourself, you master life.